Hey everyone, it's Heather Nichols for Taylored Expressions, and I'm super excited to celebrate Taylored Expressions' 15th birthday with you by creating this card with the Birthday Blowout Layering Stencil set and coordinating 3D folder. The Birthday Blowout Layering Stencil set includes 4 stencils that create an all-over birthday candle design. This stencil set is free with a purchase of $100 or more during our birthday celebration. The stencils coordinate with the Birthday Blowout 3D embossing folder. This folder can be used with the stencils or on its own and is free during our birthday celebration with a purchase of $175 or more. This offer is good while supplies last. You can visit tayloredexpressions.com for more details. Here are additional supplies that I used to create the card I'm sharing today. For ink, I used lollipop and dragon fruit, Cookie Monster and blue raspberry, macaron and dried fig, mango and candy corn. I also used a variety of blender brushes to coordinate with my ink colors. I'm using the Little Bits Stars die to cut out embellishments for my card from gold foil cardstock. I'm foiling my sentiment with the Foil It Happy Hooray panels and cutting it out with the coordinating die. I've got my mini mink machine, my foil magic shim, and the new holographic gold glitter fun foil. I'm using my embossing pad kit, and for adhesives I have multimedia matte and foam sticky strips. I'm starting off with the stencils. The stencils have a code in the lower right corner of the card that includes a 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is the suggested order of how to stencil your layers. I'm stenciling the design onto a 6x6 piece of sugar cube cardstock. I'm using a little adhesive to adhere my cardstock to my grid paper placemat. I like to use pixie spray, and I spray a thin layer on the back of my stencils to hold them in place. I'll layer that first stencil over the top of the cardstock, and then it's time to add color. This first layer, I'm using lollipop for the main color and adding shading with dragon fruit. I used the original size blender brushes to add that all over color with that main color, and then the details are added with a bitty blender brush. When you're stenciling, make sure to hit the squares on the sides of the stencil. These are registration marks that help you line each layer up perfectly. When I'm done adding color, I'll peel that stencil off, and then we'll add stencil number 2, lining everything up with those registration marks. For layer number 2, I did Cookie Monster for my main color, and then I added shading with blue raspberry. For layer number 3, I used macaron ink and added shading with dried fig ink. Layer number 4 is our last layer, and this layer is the flames on the candles. I did my main color with mango ink and then added shading just at the bottom of each flame using candy corn ink. Taking off this last stencil reveals the completed image. This is my favorite part, and look at how fun this is. So perfect for a birthday celebration. Now you could use this panel as is, but we're going to step it up with the coordinating 3D embossing folder. I'm sharing the sandwich I used with a Sizzix Big Shot. You'll need to check with your machine to see what sandwich works best for the embossing folder. I'm using the main base plate, and then from the embossing pad kit, I found that I just needed one of the pads and I used the thicker of the 2, and then I have my top plate. I'm taking my stenciled panel and I'm spritzing the back of it with water. This is going to help your cardstock emboss better, and it will prevent cracking. Then put the panel inside the embossing folder and line up the stencil design with the design on the embossing folder. Once you've got everything lined up, you can send your embossing folder through your machine with the fold end of the embossing folder going through your machine first. And just to clarify the sandwich on my Big Shot, I've got the base plate, the embossing pad, the embossing folder with the stenciled panel inside, and the plate on the top. Removing that stenciled panel from the embossing folder, this is so much fun. I love all of the detail that embossing folder added to the design. I cut down my stenciled and embossed panel with my paper trimmer to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. If you want to cut out cardstock with a die that you're using with an embossing folder, you'll want to die cut before you use your embossing folder. If you emboss first and then die cut, your embossed design will get flattened in your die cut machine. Next, let's foil a sentiment for our project using a Foil It Happy Hooray panel and the new holographic gold glitter fun foil. My mini mink is set to a 3, and then I've got my foil magic shim inside my carrier. I'll add my panel on top of the shim and then layer my foil on top of the panel, pretty side up. I'll send it through my Mink, and then when it's all done, I'll give it just a few seconds to cool off, and then I'll peel off that foil to reveal the foiled sentiments. I cut out the Make-A-Wish sentiment with the coordinating die for my project. All right, let's put this card together. I took my stenciled and embossed panel and I added it to a dried fig card base. I adhered the sentiment to the card using foam sticky strips. I cut out stars with the Little Bit Stars die from gold foil cardstock, and then I scattered them down the center of the design and adhered them in place with multi-medium matte. Here's a look at the completed card. I just love the combination of using the stencil with the 3D embossing folder. It added so much detail and I love all of the texture. Don't forget that you can earn the Birthday Blowout Layering Stencil set and the 3D embossing folder free with a qualifying purchase during our 15th birthday celebration. You can find the other supplies that I used to create my card in the Taylored Expressions web store at tayloredexpressions.com. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you next time.